Okay, welcome. This is Friday, the 21st of April, 2023. I got my coffee, and we're going to go and look at the markets and see what's happened because nothing has happened. I think it's options expiry today, so potentially nothing is going to happen today either. But um, yeah, we'll give it another chew and see what we can digest from this week's action. Anyway, head over to bubbles.org, join the website, and you will get nightly Elliott wave analysis. Okay, or at least join the mailing list. That's free. No, it's not. It's free to you. It costs me, but join the mailing list. We can keep in touch. Okay. All right. And if you have any questions, just email me. Let's go to the charts and see what's up. All right. Here is what's up. Let's start euro dollar. This is what I've been. Let me have a drink of coffee first. Hold on. Okay, now this is what I'm looking at in euro dollar. I'm looking for a C wave decline, um, somewhere down around 102, 103, maybe lower, but a C wave decline to bring us to complete a three wave expanded flat correction. Now, my mind is, or no, my mouth is ahead of my mind here. Let my mind catch up a second. So you can see that we've got an A wave down, we've got a B wave up, most likely. And we should be heading lower in a wave C. So this is the hourly chart. You can see there's the wave A, B, and C of B. Funny enough, that looks like a trumpet. Hey, I suppose you could call it a trumpet pattern. And there's the sound waves coming out. So we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Connect the 2 and the 4 and the 1 and the 3, and you get the top for wave 5. Now we've got a 1 down. Pretty good 5-wave pattern, I think. Got a wave 1, 2, 3, maybe running flat wave 4, and then wave 5. So wave 1 is done of 1 of C. So you can see that this is going to be a convoluted process. We've got wave 1 done. I'm not sure have we got wave 2 done. I was showing wave 2 at last night's top, or yesterday's top, but the action doesn't support that just yet. Unless we get when the market opens, unless we get some sort of a nice impulsive move lower to break 109 again, there's a possibility that we have some sort of extended second wave going on here, as per usual. But anyway, we've got a 1 and 2 pattern, should be heading down into wave 3 next week, and wave 1, I think here should break below the B wave low here, so that's 107. I'm looking at about 107 for wave 1 to complete. Okay, let's move on. Don't start yawning anyway, whatever you do, enda. Okay, so we've got the potential head and shoulders here for a wave B top. You can see, let's get this expanded a bit. Wave A top, A, B, C, again, expanded flat correction, wave B, and then we should be heading, this count suggests that we should be heading lower into wave C of B now. It's good coffee. All right, so here's our small little head and shoulders to mark a top, possible top anyway. We have that again ending diagonal pattern in wave C of B, and we have a possible 1-2 pattern off that top. So this week has been pretty much consumed by just nothing, going sideways to nowhere. So there is the possibility that we are again working on a larger second wave correction here. There's also the possibility that this second wave is complete. I just don't know yet. The only way that we could confirm a wave 3 is underway is if we actually get an acceleration lower into wave 3. So in a way, it's kind of a moot point at that point. But if we break wave 4, the previous wave 4, so that's 123.40. If we break 123.40, then that the odds of wave 3 being underway become exponentially higher. So that's what I'm looking for. If we get that today, more power to it. Fantastic. We're on our way in wave 3 of 1. So again, it's a 5-wave decline in wave C that I'm looking for. This would be wave 1 down. And so far, the initial impulse wave off the top is taking an exorbitant amount of time. Okay, let's move on. Here is the count in dollar yen. So overall, looking for a very large third wave rally that hasn't appeared just yet, and it's much like the wave C decline in Eurodollar and cable. It just hasn't. That decline hasn't come yet, and this rally hasn't come yet. So we're kind of stuck in a little bit of a limbo here. But we have a wave 1 and 2 done. We should be heading up higher into wave 3. And I'll show you the short-term count here, which suggests that exact outcome. Okay, so we have a wave 1 in green, a wave 2 in green. First, we have the wave 1 and 2 in red. We have wave 1 in green, wave 2 in green, wave 1 in blue, wave 2 in blue, wave 1 in pink, wave 2 in pink. So it's just we're stepping higher, one pip at a time, or one higher low at a time. So let's say this rising trend line here is holding. No acceleration yet. This week has been reasonably good. We've got 5 waves up into wave 1, and we've got more or less a 3-wave pattern lower into wave 2 now in play. Wave 3. I'm going to have to move this out here. Forgive me. So if you can follow me, I'm looking for an acceleration in a third of a third of a third of a third of a third, or however many thirds are in there. I don't know. But it's at such a degree where it should be a serious acceleration higher. So I think we should be breaking above 137 once this wave 3 in pink is done. But it hasn't happened yet. The signals are pointing to an impulsive move higher anyway, with an acceleration to come, but it hasn't happened yet. So again, I must wait patiently. I'm losing patience. If you don't hear it in my voice, I'm starting to lose patience, but so be it. That's the way it works. It's a point of frustration at this moment in time that it hasn't happened, but I do think it's coming. So again, watch out. So let's move on. The dollar is pointing higher in general, and of course that times quite well with the whole, stupidity about the death of the dollar again and again. We get this every single year now at this point. It will not happen. Just deal with it. The euro and the dollar, they're the dominating currencies in the world, and even the euro is way behind the dollar. So even everybody in Europe wants dollars. And that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to play out over the next few months. Okay, let's move on. This is the Dow. We've had a move lower this week. It's been nothing, to write home about. Even though I've been writing home about it, but the action this week has been, indistinguishable. Very little to suggest. Very little to suggest anything, to be honest. I still stand by last week's comment regarding this correction higher here. I still think that this is a correction higher. I still think this is a second wave. The point being, the number of Fibonacci relationships that just kind of really jumped out at me as I was going through them. So I'm still suggesting that is a second wave correction higher. The action this week hasn't confirmed anything, but at the very least, we've drifted away off that invalidation level there. So 34,342 is safe for the moment. No acceleration lower. That doesn't mean it won't come, but though it tarries, it will be on time. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up. We've got an ending. We've got a pretty standard actually 5-wave pattern here. Once I think I went through it. We just haven't, seen the regime change yet. We haven't seen the flip to downside. We've had enough to the upside. We've just had enough. It's time. So come on, market, get with it. Again, I said options expiry, I think, is today, so most likely, I think the market would be most likely dead today. Um, so we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what tonight's update brings. Okay, let's move on. This is gold. Um, I, I'm still counting the decline this week as you can count it actually in two ways. To be honest. Count it, that's a nice 5-wave pattern down into the early lows this week, and we've got possible expanded flat correction wave 2. We can also count 5 waves into Wednesday's low. So because we have a series of 1-2s here, we got to have 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 3 4 and 5 wave 1. So extended wave 1 pattern, yeah, no problem. We've got about a 50% retracement here in a possible wave 2, and that looks like a 3-wave pattern. And we've got a decline this morning. Now, nothing has been confirmed here. We could also, just like in Eurodollar and just like in cable, because they seem to be mirroring now these days, we could be working on a larger second wave here. I just don't know yet. If that's the case, it'll probably, once the US starts to open in a couple of hours' time, the early market, the pre-market will probably start drifting higher, and we'll get a completed second wave somewhere towards the middle of the US session. Okay. I know I'm kind of flipping coins here on this one, but a second wave high seems to be close to completing here. Again, we need that acceleration lower. We need that rally in the dollar. Excuse me, that's my coffee again. There's not a whole lot else I can say here. I'm looking for an A wave decline. For the moment, I'm sticking with the 5 waves down in wave A. That would be more. I think that would be more fitting. I think at this point, given the extent of the rally previously, a good, nice, a solid impulsive decline to kind of shock the market a little bit. That would be pretty good. Okay, so next week, looking for wave A down to continue and complete, let's say, by the end of next week. Okay, let's move on. What I do there? Okay, let's get to crude oil. That's the daily chart. We were looking for a second wave again, so wave 1 2 1 2 and 1 expanded flat 2. This week's we're moving lower again, so you could probably call this a rejection on at the 200 MA on the daily chart, which is probably something you should take note of from a technical point of view. Anyway, we've got a rejection at the 200 MA all the way up in crude oil. The 200 was serving as a support, and now it's serving as a resistance. So something is happening here that should be, I think, should be taken note of. So let's go to the 4-hour count. Here is that second wave high that we've been pointing to. We didn't get that spike that I was looking for to complete that wave C, but you know, I'm quite happy. Quite happy that the market has turned. It's turned below the target. Let's say that 161.8 target was at 84.90. We didn't get there. That's pretty okay. We actually just topped out above the previous wave A. So that was minimum target for an expanded flat correction. We've got 3 waves up in A, 3 waves down in B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up in wave C. Wave C just about pipped above the by about $1. Was it even $1? 50 or 60 cents above the wave A high, and then we have rejected pretty conclusively over the last couple of days. So I think we've most likely got a 5-wave pattern either complete or pretty close to completing down in wave 1. I have allowed for that alternate wave 4 count, but I would probably, yeah, I'm not favoring that at all, to be honest, right now. But I can't rule it out just yet, because the only way we can rule out this alternate count is if wave 4 breaks the wave 1 high So that's around 71, 72, and we're not there yet. So it still kind of lingers in the background, and that would be an expanded flat wave 4. So for the moment, a possible 5-wave decline in wave 1, pretty much close to completing right now. So we should expect a corrective rally early next week in wave 2, and I think then we are in for something, a surprise for crude oil. Later on next week, hopefully as a third wave down takes over. But so far so good. A rejection, a slight break of the, let's say a completion of the minimum target for wave C by breaking the wave A high. Let's get a price on that wave A high. So 82.73 to 83.37. So about 70 points or so as a buffer there. Broke above, or 70 pennies. We broke above, and now we are moving impulsively lower again. So the minimum expected expanded flat wave 2 correction, that's wave 2 in blue here, that minimum expected correction is done. And we do have an impulsive move lower. So uh, all I can say this week is that the action definitely supports the wave count right now. So watch out below. Okay, the S&P has, yeah, it hasn't given me, that's my comments, meh. Go a meme on that one. Nothing has happened, but nothing has broken either. So let's get the hourly count. This second wave high came quite close to breaking invalidation at 41.95. It didn't. So far, we have basically drifted lower, and that's all I can say. The market has gone to sleep. It's pretty complacent, to be quite honest, but volume is, again, you can see over the last few days, the daily volume here, we are down at levels that match and most likely lower, that means exceed to the downside, the all-time highs. So again, at a lower degree, second wave high, we are at a lower, or say a higher degree of complacency than we were way back at the top. So I would expect, and the VIX is, you could see the VIX is pinned to the floor about 17, or was it below 17 this week? Did it actually break 17 this week? That was quite an interesting point. But we've got that declining momentum on the daily chart. You see that we can still connect the highs. We're cresting again. This chart basically screams rollover and complacency. So we can't get nothing to the short term on the daily count. So let's go down the degrees here. The 4-hour count again, I'm sticking with that wave 1, 2 pattern off the top of wave 2 in green. And here you can see that wave 1 low, ABC up in A, ABC down in B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Ending diagonal, wave 5. We've drifted off the top again today, over the last couple of days. So all I can say is, I can say a lot. I can say a lot for saying nothing, but all I can say is the overall setup is pining for a decline. Is really, we're missing a decline right now. So let's see if the short term gives it to us over the next couple of days. All right, let's move on. Silver, wave 1 has topped. Wave 2 is underway. We have a possible A and B. We could interpret this, a good few many ways, to be quite honest. But you could also do a leading wedge, wave 1 in 5 waves, and then maybe a larger wave B might be underway here. It is much, I think at this point, it's probably much to do with what the dollar is going to do in the short term. I think we've got as much of a rally as we're going to get in metals. I think you could probably confirm a bubble here now in silver and gold. I still can't, here on the daily chart, I still can't shake the three-wave pattern higher that is, again, a real possibility. And if this actually turns out to be the correct pattern and it's actually three waves up, then silver is going to get an almighty decline coming our way. On the 4 account, we can see that all we've done basically is burn out against the searing pace of that rally. We've burned out now, and while we haven't confirmed anything just yet, I think that burnout is pretty much confirmation enough that we should be rolling over into a second wave. Still looking towards the kind of the low 21s, maybe even a bit lower than that. Initially, if the alternate count is correct, then we get lower than that again. We break probably 19. And if the third alternate there, if this is actually only 3 waves up to form this new high, then we're going to blow out to the downside again completely. Okay, let's leave that. The market hasn't shown its hand just yet, so let's see how that falls over the next few days. Now, fourth wave high in Bitcoin. That's what I was looking for, or looking at. We have at least turned lower this week without confirming anything, but we have at least turned lower after a pretty extended decline, or sorry, after a pretty extended rally of last November's lows. So we've had pretty much 6 months of, well, 5 months of rally now. It's time to kind of counteract to that, I think. So if this is a fourth wave high, then we should have a fifth wave decline. The fifth wave decline should at least bring us, I think, back below the 10,000, maybe back to as low as 2 or 3,000 again. So the 4-hour count, you can see as the market rallied and topped out, we had this declining momentum. We've had that momentum divergence. We have seemed to, at least on the 4-hour count, we've had this regime change on momentum. So it's a possibility that we are now turning into a downside dominated momentum pattern. Here is the hourly count. We've got a possible 1, 2, and maybe an acceleration lower into wave 3. Quite like crude oil actually over the last while. So if Bitcoin is trading like a commodity right now, I think you should get worried. So far, we've only got 3 waves down. We're at the, let's say, the price territory of the previous fourth wave correction. So the triangle low comes in at 27,650 or 27,650. Let's see if we can slice down through that and complete wave 1 down next week. Okay, the FTSE, the market that just wants to give. I don't know what's driving this, the mess that the UK is in, and I love the UK. It's a beautiful country, a beautiful kingdom. I am actually a monarchist as well. I don't know if you know that. I used to be a Republican, but I'm actually a monarchist now because my king Jesus is coming back. So I'm a monarchist, fully and truly. The Lord God is my king. Okay, so FTSE topping out hopefully at a lower high here. We are at the previous second wave, price parity of the previous second wave at 1 lower degree. So it's the perfect time to turn, I believe. It's an extended 3-wave correction. We've basically drifted. If we're looking for a market, I think to ooze complacency, I think that is the FTSE right now. Okay, so we're hanging above the 78.6 retracement in wave 2. Again, next week needs to bring some sort of a bang to the downside. The German market, you could probably say the same thing. Let's go to the daily count here. We've got a fifth wave, a 5-wave rally in wave C. We've got a wave A up, wave B down, and then a 5-wave rally in wave C. We're pushing out towards all-time highs again. but we are still holding a lower high. So after that has happened, it's time, is all I can say here. I go to the NASDAQ, and then I will finish it up. That's been quite a quick one today. On the daily count, on the daily chart, I don't have a count on the daily chart. I should have a count. Okay, so 5 waves down into a first wave, and then 3 waves up. I think this was a triple combination, to be quite honest. 3 up in A, 3 down in B, and then 3 up in C. On the forward count, you can see that triple combination here. A up, B down, and then ABC up in C. We have basically flatlined this week. There's been, nothing to declare here just yet. Bit of a bit of a nothing burger, I know, but all the signs of a momentum death and a kind of a regime change again. We are failing beneath, excuse me, we're failing beneath the 50% retracement here. Also, that's the previous fourth wave high. So we've got a fourth wave high back in August last year and a 50% retracement this year. So I think that's about as much as I can add here. In wave C of C, we've got a possible 5-wave pattern. 1, 2, 3, and possibly a triangle fourth wave. Maybe a pop. Maybe we got one more pop in wave 5 to complete wave C of 2. And that would be a beautiful picture to complete. But however the market's going to complete, we all know our lives are going to complete. And I would suggest I never do a script for this, and maybe I should, but the message is get on the ark because the world's about to be flooded again. There is a beast kingdom rising in the Middle East. You can see rapprochement all over the place. There's a war coming. It's going to knock people on their asses. I don't know if you've ever read the book of Revelation, but the 3 colors that keep coming out in the book of Revelation, in chapter chapter 9, I think, 3 colors that keep coming out is red, yellow, and blue. And those are the banners of World War III. So go read your book of Revelation. The smoke and the fire, the color of hyacinth, sulfur, and fire. So that's what they said, red, yellow, and blue. Or blue, yellow, and red. And we can see in Europe, European flag, blue and yellow. The Ukrainian flag, blue and yellow. The Chinese flag, red. The Soviet Russia, the beast like a bear. Not actually a bear, it's a beast like a bear. Red. So those are the banners which will be forming the formations for World War III. So it's coming. It's time you got on the ark of Jesus Christ, because he is the way, the truth, and the life. He is the door. He is the only way. There is no other way. I don't care who you pray to. There's only one that you can. There's only one way to heaven, and that is Jesus Christ. You need to step out from underneath Adam. Adam is the headship of death. He is the man that lost the covering. He is the man that lost the covering and made us all naked. That was all figurative when Moses wrote it. He lost the covering of the Holy Spirit, and that made us all naked, because we are sons of Adam. When we were born, we're sons of Adam. You may be creation of God, but you're not a son of God. You're a son of Adam when you're born, and you need to walk out from Adam to the new Adam. That is Jesus Christ. He paid for the sin, all sin, as the perfect sacrifice, as the perfect lamb that was slaughtered on Passover Day outside the city walls, shed his blood, poured it on the tabernacle in heaven, poured it on the mercy seat in heaven, and paid for the sin of all who believed. So, believe in the Lord Jesus Christ and you will be saved. That's what Paul said. That's it. That may be my last ever video. If it is, See you in heaven. If not, I'll be back next week. All right. God bless. Bye-bye.